Welcome back guys, Slybacon here. So the Witch Doctor update for 1.04, the preview has been released. Some pretty good information in there. I've been through it a couple of times just making sure I haven't missed much. Of course the stuff I was really looking at, and probably the stuff you were really looking at as well, was what are they doing with pets. And they've only given us information on zombie dogs at this stage. There's a couple of trial and error things that they went through in there, but further down the post they actually tell us exactly what it's going to be. So if you go further down the page, you'll actually see how it's going to work is that pets get 35% of your life, and they also, above and beyond that, they've also moved over Force Armor from the Wizard, which is a Wizard skill, and that's what that skill basically does, is limit the amount of damage that your dogs could take at 35% of their life. So 35% of their base life. Now that there is a very important difference. The base life for a dog is 10,000 HP, roughly, and with that 35% extra life, of course, the more life you have, the more life your pets have, the more damage your pets will be able to take. This is zombie dogs. This is not for Gargantuan. We haven't heard anything about the Gargantuan at this stage. It might be the same for him. I wouldn't think so. I think because he's quite tanky anyway. But did some maths, trying to figure out, you know, how much this is all going to change my build, how much it's going to change probably some of the builds you're using, so bear with me. I'm going to do some maths for you. My standard set, which is the set I was wearing at the end of Act 4, that I did show you in the last video, using that set and using the numbers that Blizzard has supplied here, each zombie dog will last 17 hits. If I replace the shield for my mojo, which is actually a pretty decent mojo, it actually bumps my life up quite a lot. Unfortunately, that doesn't actually translate into the added bonuses of the shield, so I actually lose a couple of hits. With the mojo, I'm taking 15 hits for each dog to die. So remember, the first one was 17 hits, that's from my standard regen set, haven't changed anything, that's what it was at the end of Act 4. Switch over to the mojo, was actually a life mojo with quite high stats on it. I actually lose some life, hits on my dogs, bring them down to 15. Now I do have a second set of gear, and this is an HP set. It's not as good as I would like it to be. It's not as good as my main set, but it does bump me up to just under 32k HP. Now using this set and using the same shield that I use in my other set, my zombie dogs actually survive for 18 hits. If I swap that shield out for the mojo, they survive for 16 hits. So I think we can tell pretty much straight off the bat that we do need a shield unless you get an insanely good mojo with high HP on it. Now I have to say, all these numbers are based on everything being equal level, and you've got to remember the stuff in Act 4 is not level 60, it's level 63, is it? 63, 64. 64 I believe it is in Act 4, so it won't be 17 hits for my standard set. I realise that it'll actually be less than that, but this is a pretty good indication on where we lie. Now, the way I've worked it out, with my standard regen set, I'm just going to go back to that one. Each hit my dogs take at a maximum of 1,140 hits. As you guys know, I have more regen than that. So I have almost double that regen. So based on these numbers, my dogs won't ever die because they are regenerating more HP than what they are actually taking in damage. I guess I need to adjust that statement. Single target, they will never die. Multiple target, of course they could die because even though they're only taking, what did I say, 1140 damage per hit, there might be 20 things hitting them at the same time, which of course would kill them. It's pretty unlikely that they'll die or die fast. If they are going to die, it's going to be pretty slowly. But yeah, that's just a wee adjustment on that statement before I get called out on it, because I know someone would say, but what about multiple sources of damage? And it's dead right, you know, multiple sources of damage will kill your pets. But yeah, versus bosses, especially the slow hitting bosses, I don't think your pets are ever going to die. So this is going to be super interesting to see it in practice, see if my numbers are correct, see if they actually, well, they are correct because I know how to use a calculator, yay me, but see them in practice, you know, see if this is working out the way I think it is, see what other changes are coming in the patch notes. So good start for my Poison Summoner build. I'm pretty sure if this goes as it is said in the blog, we'll be clearing Act 4 probably within the first 1 or 2 days of the release of 1.04. Now one of the other changes they're doing is pets are now more resistant to AoE effects such as Plague, Frozen and Mortar. Anybody who plays my build will know that Plagued and particularly Molten are a real pain in the butt. and they'll know that things like arcane beams, pets just don't even care about the arcane beams, can take no damage from it. So they're doing that to all AoE effects for pets, so that's definitely going to improve their survivability quite a lot. Now there was a couple of other changes which I do want to glance over. They're not my build predominantly, but you guys probably want to know about them. They're changing the way mana regen works. We are increasing the base mana regen of all witch doctors from 20 to 45 mana per second. This actually helps out my build even more. Not that it has mana issues, but the odd time that it does, yeah, this is going to eliminate that altogether. And Vision Quest itself is getting a pretty big nerf. At the moment it is currently have 4 skills on cooldown, you get 300% mana regen. They're changing that so it's going to be 30% mana regen for 5 seconds after you deal, this is the big change, after you deal damage with firebomb, court spiders, poison darts or plagued toads. So really you're going to be having this running 100% of the time, but this makes me a bit concerned about the Diabats and the bear builds, the zombie bears. But we can't really say too much at this stage because these are only previews. They're not everything that's going to be in the patch, so we'll have to wait and see what else comes out. And that was pretty much it for the Witch Doctor preview. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Hopefully the maths wasn't too hard on the old head. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you next time.